Yo guys, yo, what is good, man? I hope this shit is recording. One sec. Yeah, it's all good. All right, man. So you know what? I did say I was gonna do a video on technicals this weekend, which I'm gonna be doing as well. But I just thought, you know what? I've done two videos on technicals. I've been putting technicals on my story. I've been doing, I've just been doing a lot of technical shit, giving you guys technical content, and I haven't really done anything on psychology yet. And I had a DM the other day, and he was asking me what my routine is. What do I look for when I take trades? Do I have a trading plan, which I do? What's my risk like? All this kind of stuff. And I thought to myself, let me just put out a video. Let me just put out a little something for you guys. So you do know that I'm doing this. So I do practice this because you have to practice this shit, man. All right. If you don't practice this stuff, then on a serious level, you will not be successful in the long run. You know what I mean? There's always going to be guys out there, guys, that flip accounts from what a bill to a bag, but you have to understand, you got to ask yourself, are they actually doing this long term? Like, what are their long term goals? You know what I mean? You've really got to have those in place when you are doing something or when you're doing trading specifically, because when you try and flip accounts, when you have short term views with trading, you don't take it seriously enough, and you don't treat it like a business, and you have to treat this like a business. That's number one. I always say, guys, anyone to help me out, any of my students, I say, look, if you're not going to do this as a business, if you're not going to take it seriously enough, then honestly, it's probably not the profession for you, man. You know what I mean? And I say that with caution, but you have to take this shit seriously. You know what I mean? You really got to take your risk seriously. You got to take your trading planner seriously, and you got to take your trade management seriously. All right? Those three are so important, guys. If you don't do it, you will get raped in the markets. I'm telling you. I'm telling you from experience. All right? The market doesn't give a shit about you. It doesn't give a shit about your friends. It doesn't give a shit about your mum, who you're trying to flip your account for so you can buy a new kitchen. It doesn't give a shit about the Lambo that you're trying to cop in a year and a bit by flipping your £100 to a mil. All right? It doesn't give a shit about you. So you have to put, things in place where you have like a full safe. And what I mean by that is that, you know, if this trade goes wrong, you're not going to lose all your money. Or if this trade goes wrong, you're only going to lose 1%. All right? And you've got to have the long-term mindset, because, put it this way, like, by the time you get, like, let's say you are successful, right, and you do put in the right aspects of trading, and you do what you need to do, by the time you get a mil, like, that's even like, let's not even talk about it. By the time you get 100k or like 200k or whatever, right, 300k, whatever, right, you won't, like, your mindset will be so different that you won't even be fucking with what you were thinking about when, you just started. You know what I mean? This shit is actually a journey. Like, you change so much from the first time you open up a chart to, when you have reached your goals, or at least some of them. As a trader, you really do. And you guys got to understand that when you're starting out, just forget all the bullshit, all the crap that people tell you, right? Just forget all the luxurious lifestyle stuff. You're going to be in your bedroom eating McD's, doing 2, 3, 4, 6 hour shifts after work just to understand what you're doing. Like, that's the reality of this shit. I'm just going to tell you guys now, that is the reality of this stuff. Don't think you're going to be doing this in a month, 2 months. I mean, you could. There are traders out there, I know there's traders out there, friends of mine that have picked this shit up very quickly, but they're like they're 1 in 1,000. This shit takes time. It really takes time, and you've got to put in the work to see the results, man. You know what I mean? So you got to understand that. You got to understand that. And I think first thing I really want to talk about is risk, because I've had a few traders, DM me about this, and they ask me what type of risk do I use. Like, do I use 10% risk? I'm thinking, look, no reasonable trader is going to tell you to use 10% risk on their main account. As much as they might have several accounts, because I have several accounts. Many traders have several accounts. They might have a low risk account or a main account, which they, use very, very strict risk management on, and then they might have a high risk account, right? And if they're not a swing trader by nature, then they might have a swing trader account or a swing account, just to take big swings and have gradual growth, and have an account that they're not really looking at every 5 minutes. But you got to understand that you got to take your risk seriously. You know what I mean? As much as there's been people out there that have flipped their accounts by risking their whole account balance and flipping their account from like a bag to 10, like, yeah, that is possible. But you got to remember that the majority of you don't have the psychology to even hold your trade in a drawdown. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? And I'm not even saying like hold your trade in like a 30, 40, 50% drawdown, which most likely is going to be the case if you're trying to, flip your whole account in one trade. I'm just saying like 5%, 10% drawdown. There's guys out here that, they just see the spread and they get shook. Like, on a serious, on a serious note, if you guys don't have much of an appetite for risk, then don't try and be doing madness. Just stick to your 1% risk, to your 2% risk, and have gradual growth. Because what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to have a proper mindset when you go into the markets. You're going to think clearer. You're not going to be, worrying about blowing your account. You're going to make proper trading decisions. As long as you have a trading plan, and as long as you know what you're doing, like actually know what you're doing, you will take what you're doing a lot more seriously, and you will see the growth. You know what I mean? People are worried that they don't want to put in 6 months work to a year. Like they don't want to put that work in to grow their account to a decent size. And it's kind of silly because you got to ask yourself, forget trading for a set. What else in life is going to give you this kind of opportunity to make this amount of money in this amount of time? Like, working a 9 to 5 job, if it's unskilled, what, you're going to be earning 20, 22,000? This is in the UK for you guys that are outside the UK, but, 20 to 22 grand, right? Per year. And you got to remember that you're not even holding that 22k in your hands. Like, you're using that to live on. You know what I mean? So there's nothing out there where you're going to be getting the type of growth you're going to be getting on this. So just respect this for what it is. It is a way to make money, yes, but it isn't a way to become a millionaire in a week. All right, there's a big difference to that, and you guys got to clock on with that. All right, because if you don't, it's going to burn you. All right, I'm saying this from experience because this has burnt me. It took me a while to get my psychology right, to the point where I wasn't thinking like that, to the point where I could put on a trade, take it seriously, let it run, take my 3-4% and be happy with it. And then come back into the market the next week, take another 3-4%. And this is when I just started, right? This is when I started. What I'm doing now is not what I was doing when I started, And I think a lot of the time for me, people ask me how much risk I use. I usually use like 1 to 2% risk, depending on the kind of trade I'm taking, depending on how, if it's something I'm very confident in, if it's something that's got more than one, or more than like 3, 4, 5 confluences on, I'll use more risk on it. But generally, I'm using like 1% risk, generally, or 1.5% risk, and then 2% risk for more serious trades. But a lot of the time, guys, I'm doing this solely so that I can, have a calm state of mind, because I'm not trying to do this. I'm not trying to become a millionaire in a week. This is a long-term thing for me. It's a long-term growth for me. You know what I mean? And the money will come, guys. The money will come. As much as you want it to happen now, like, it will come. What is yours will come to you as long as you have the patience with this. And you got to remember, like, if you put the work in, all right, let's say you've been training for a year, 2 years now, you put the work in, you've done a course, or maybe you've done it self-taught. Either one is really good. But let's say you put the work in now and you can trade, right? And let's say you've been live trading for like 6 months with proper risk management. I'm talking like 1% risk or less, right? Over a consistent period of time. And you've been making, let's say you've been making like what, 5 to 10% a month. You can get well, I wouldn't say institutional, but you can get an investment from private investors, like serious investment guys. If someone gives you 500k, right, and they're saying, make me 5% on this a month, or make me 10% on this a month, and you can do it, and you get 50% of that. 50%. What's 10% of 500k, right? 50k, right? What's 50% of that? 25 grand in a month. Tell me you would not be happy taking away 25,000 in 1 month, doing proper risk management, using your brain. Of course you would. So, just stick with risk management. It's very important, guys, all right? And I think for me, this is a subject that's a bit easier for me because I do go for higher hour trades. So I go for like usually 6-7 hour my trades usually. Sometimes I get more than that. A lot more. I can do 20-30% just off one trade, and a lot of the time I will get less than that as well. I'll probably get like 5-6%. But like for me, it doesn't really bother me because I have higher trades. And a lot of people say, yeah, it's fine for you because you got 6-7 hour, you make that on a trade, or you make 10% on the trade. Yeah, I understand. Like I do, but that's what works for me. Do you feel me? That's what works for me. You know what I mean? There are traders out there that are 3-4 hour traders, right? That is completely fine. They might use a little bit more risk than me anyway. Let's say they're using that 2%, 3% risk. They're making a similar amount to me. So, risk management is, in my opinion, you should keep it to a level where you're not going to blow your account in 10 trades, really, 10, 20 trades, all right? You want to keep it to a good level, but it will differ from person to person. And that's another thing, all right? Some people might use 5% risk and, they might have 60, 70, 80% accuracy, and it works for them in the long term, all right? As long as you've done the maths behind your own trading style and you know what you can do, generally you know what you can achieve usually, and it works out for you, then that is completely fine, guys. All right. But you've got to put in the work to actually understanding yourself first before you can do that. You've got to understand what works for you, why it works for you. All right, and that's very important. So yeah, in terms of risk, guys, I use like 1% to 2% usually, and I'll stick with that because I don't really need to use more. I mean, yeah, if I risk 5%, I could be doing a lot more, but to me, it doesn't really matter. I'm just in this for the long term. You know, I make enough already anyway, so it doesn't really bother me too much. All right. So I think a friend sent me he sent me a whole Excel sheet, right? And this is an important thing to do, guys. Make sure you actually have an Excel sheet or just something you can refer to that shows you what trades you well, it shows you how many trades you need to take to lose your account or blow a certain amount of your account, right? And what this will do is show, all right, number one, it will make you more disciplined because you know what you need to do or you know how many trades you are taking, you know, till you hit a certain drawdown, and that's very important because you've got to manage your drawdown, all right, guys? No one is beyond the drawdown. I don't care which trader out there. Everyone has hit a losing streak. It will happen to you. So, you know, you have to know about dealing with these things, guys. It's really important. So, understanding your drawdown and knowing how to manage it is extremely important. So important, all right, guys? And that's why having an Excel spreadsheet showing you, you know, how much drawdown your account can take before you hit a certain level is imperative. You need that. All right, you really do need that, guys. It's very, very important, and make sure you sort that one out. Okay. So in terms of, you know, risk management, you know how I do, guys. All right, that's what I do. But I think also managing your trade is extremely important. All right, and this is what we're going to talk about now in more detail. So what I mean about trade management is literally understanding, you know, when you're in a trade, how are you going to manage it? How are you going to cut out the risk that you know that you've already exposed yourself initially? Because whenever you put in a trade, every single person exposes themselves to risk. Everyone, all right. When you put in a trade, even the spread alone, that's risk, all right. So what you want to be trying to do is you want to make sure that you're cutting out that risk, or you're at least minimizing it as the trade goes on, because this is what is going to be helping you to stay profitable in the long run. Is being able to manage your trades. All right. Anyone can do analysis and say, oh yeah, you know, I would have shorted from this level here, put my stop above there, boom. Yeah, anyone can say that, but you know, the hard thing is actually managing this position. So once you get in, let's say you get in from here, you take a short from here, you put your stop above that block, right? That's your initial risk. Let's say that's your initial risk. Yeah. So let's zoom down to low time frame now. So you get in there, boom. Price moves away from your level, okay? Then you get a big move away. What you want to be doing is if you got in there, you want to be moving your, you know, you want to be moving your stop loss up. I'm not saying in every situation, but you want to be managing your trade so that you stay profitable and that you lock in profits, that you lock in, you know, reward. That's what you want to be doing. And this is extremely difficult to do when you haven't been doing it. You know what I'm saying, guys? You need to be practicing how to manage your trades. You need to be practicing where you want to move your stop loss to. You must have some conditions that need to be met once price moves away from your levels and starts moving into profit. Because, you know, I see a lot of people and they get in here, right? Or let's say they get in that level and they put their stop loss there, and they're just saying, great, you know, let's say they're up about 90 pips, right? Let's say they hit this level now, they're up 90 pips. I see a lot of guys that literally have 90 pips and their stop loss, you know, they still don't move their stop into break even. I'm just thinking, you know, fair enough. If that's their plan, right, and that's the trading plan, and they back tested and it works, then fair enough. But a lot of guys won't even have a trading plan, and they won't even have risk management, and they won't even have, you know, conditions for, you know, to manage their trades, and they'll literally just leave their trade saying, oh yeah, great, it's in profit. Leave, you know, not even have a target either. And what price will do, as you can see, is, you know, here with the comeback, boom, stop them out. You know what I mean? This is what you need to be doing, guys. You need to be managing your trades, man. You need to have conditions that need to be met. And this is what is going to keep you in the game long term. Because you would have cut out that risk, made profit. Let's say you were trading your stop loss down to these levels and you trade it below that low. You know, when price hit that low, your stop loss trailed down to that. Let's say you got stopped out there, price would have wicked up. And if you had your stop loss trailing to that low, right, price would have taken it out. Fine, you would have locked in like 3-4R. You know what I mean? These are the things you need to be doing, guys. Having conditions that need to be met. And this is what is going to keep you in the game long term, man. All right? It's very, very important. So we're gonna go over to like a little spreadsheet, right? And this is just something that I use to manage how much risk, right? So let's say this spreadsheet basically shows me how much risk, so that's 1% of my account, that I'm using, and it also shows me, the type of lot size I can be using for, the type of stop loss that I'm using. So in other words, this is just like an example, right? Let's say it's $50 I've got let's say 1% of my account is $50, right? This is all hypothetical, guys, all right? I've just put this out. But let's say that 1% of my account balance is $50, yeah? And I want to risk a trade that has, my stop loss for that trade would be 10 pips. This shows me that I would need a zero point 0.5. Well, that's the maximum lot size that I should be using for that trade, right? So having this here, this just gives me the confidence. Like I don't need to be working it out as I'm going to the trade. I can just whip up my Excel spreadsheet. I have my tools. I have my tools that I've prepared beforehand, right? And I know exactly what I need to be doing. There's no rushing about. This is all timed. This is all prepared. This is all done on a time scale, guys. Yeah. Nothing you should be doing in the market should be random, right? You need to have consistency with what you're doing, and this is why, when a lot of people actually get into trading and they realize how much, they realize what trading actually is, which is literally just preparation. Like 80% of your trading is preparation, 10% is execution, right, and 10% is reflecting what we've done. So, you know, this is what you want to be doing, man. Understanding how much you need to be risking, understanding exactly when to get our trade, basically understanding how much you actually, and understanding basically your trading plan and yourself as a trader. That's what I'm really saying. All right. So I will know now that that is how much I need to be using if I want to be using a 10 pip stop loss. If I want to have a 20 pip stop loss, that's the max I can risk in lot size, right? Or that's the biggest lot size I can use. And this just makes my trading so seamless because I can just whip it out, put my trade on, execute it, use my stop loss, then manage the trade. And what that will do is, I don't stress about the trades I'm taking now, guys. I just take them, I put them on, it's automatic. That is it. There's no ambiguity about, oh, should I be getting out, or oh, am I using the right risk, or am I using the right, stop loss. I'm doing everything properly, and everything is done in a good, timely fashion. All right, this is what you're gonna be doing in your trading, guys, man. Because if you're running around like a headless chicken, you ain't gonna be making no money, man. And that is literally just how it is. All right, you're gonna be making no money, and you're gonna end up blowing your account and just doing all stupidness, all types of madness. Probably revenge trading, bagging another bag in your account, losing that, and you'll probably just run around the yard after that, saying shit. Trading is bullshit. It don't work. It does work, but it's only for the disciplined. And I will say that again. It's only for those who are disciplined. All right. If you aren't disciplined, guys, don't trade. It will only bring you stress, and it will only bring you pain and anxiety and all the other mad type of mental illnesses that people get after trading, and they don't use what they need to be using. All right, guys. So it's really, really important, man. All right. And another thing is just being content with what you're actually making. You know what I mean? Let's say you've only got a small account, like a few thousand, right? And you're making 100, 200, 300 weekly. And, let's say you're doing what you need to be doing. You've got your trading plan. You've got your lot size calculator for what you're meant to be doing there. Let's say you've also got, right, how much, you've got a trade management plan. So you know when you're getting in a trade, when to move a stop loss into profit. Let's say you've got all your conditions met and you're consistently profitable, right? Let's say you're at that stage now. And your mate's making, what, a grand, 2, 3 grand a week. You have to be in the mindset where you don't give a shit about what anyone else is doing, all right? This is a one-man sport, all right? It is a one-man sport, and you really can't be focusing on what any other person is doing, because then that means you aren't focusing on yourself. And if you're not focusing on your own game and yourself, then you're never going to get anywhere, man. And it's only going to cause you stress. You need to just be happy with what you're doing, with what you're making, and go from there. Build up. No one, no one gets $2 million. No one gets to making 100 grand, 200 grand by accident. You know what I mean? And you got to remember that the people that you're trying to aspire to be, or let's say your mate who's trading as well, he might have been trading for a longer time. He might start with more capital. He might just be better at technical analysis. He might be better at managing his trades because he's had more time. You know what I mean? You've got to understand these variables as well. So a lot of the time, this is why you have to focus on yourself, because you don't know what anyone else is doing behind the scenes. No matter what they're telling you, you don't understand what they're doing. They could be doing all types of madness. staying up 24 hours a day doing this shit. You don't even know. So focusing on yourself is so important. And once you do that, you will see the growth and you'll see the development. And then, of course, you're going to get results from that, guys, all right? So just focus on yourself, man. Focus on your process. Focus on bettering yourself. And you will get to the goals you want to get to. It's just going to take time, all right? And, you know, you've got to develop the patience. Once you've got the patience. And the thing is, the joke is, once you actually have the patience, things will come to you a lot faster anyway. You know what I mean? Like, you will generally see your goals get met a lot faster when you actually succumb to them and you accept them for what they are and you accept that this shit is going to take time. You know what I mean? So you've got to put the time in, man. You've got to just understand you. You've got to understand yourself before you start trading, and you've just got to do what you need to do and just accept that it's going to take time. It might take a year, 2 years, 3 years, you know. I don't know how long it's going to take for you guys, but it will take time. It will take time. But once you are there, you are there. And that's another thing. You know, I spoke to a trader the other day and he's recently hit his goal. I won't tell you how much. It's a big amount. But he's got to where he's got to where he wanted to be. And I remember, you know, him coming up from a long time ago, like, you know, him using like micro lots. It was mad. Like, and he's finally hit the target that he was trying to hit. And the funny thing is that now that he's actually got that goal, like, he's just like, you know, I feel the same. Like, it's not, you know, I've got here now, but, you know, what's next? Like, he doesn't, you know, so what I'm trying to basically say is that the goals that you're trying to get to sometimes won't even be that, you know, you won't even be that happy when you get them sometimes. You guys, you know, you've got to focus on the process, really. The process is where you're going to have the most fun. I know you don't think staying up to 5 a.m. charting is fun at the moment. I know you're not going to see that, but the grind is the enjoyable part, man. You know, that's what you should be focusing on. That's what's going to give you the most joy and appreciation in a way. You know what I mean? That's what you're going to get the most out of, really. Not the end goal. It's the getting there that is going to give you the gratification that you're looking for. So, yeah, just focus on yourself, guys, is what I'm trying to say, man. All right? You're all great people. I do love you all. And I know you're all going to do well with this, but you just need to focus on yourself. Don't look at what another man is doing. Just look at what you're doing. Look where you can improve, you know. Look to where what you are doing wrong, and just look at your mistakes. Just review yourself constantly. You know, review what you're doing, and gradually you're going to become a better trader and a better person as well. Hopefully, all right. Some of you are cunts, but you know, all right. No, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You just got to continue with what you're doing and succumb to the process, guys. All right. So that is me done for today. I am going to be doing another video very soon. I'll make sure I send that one out for you guys on the weekend. Well, it's the weekend, so probably later today. I'll get that one out as well. But yeah, man, stay hungry, guys. Stay hungry, and good luck, good trading, boys. See you soon.